This is Robin Lim, Ibu Robin Lim. I'm here in Bali. I'm actually packed and ready to leave for the Philippines, where we have a team on the ground that has been since the October 15th earthquake. They've been feeding 300 to 400 people a day. And then, as you know, on November 8th, the central Philippines was devastated by a terrible typhoon. It's actually Typhoon Yolanda, also called Haiyan. Was the biggest storm in the history of humanity to ever make landfall. So you can imagine, if you can imagine the tsunami, then you imagine that many, many, many times over. The Philippine government was able to, with 5 days' notice, evacuate over 800,000 people off of the coastlines of several islands. All of those people are hungry, homeless, and thirsty, and they're having a difficult time surviving. So let's talk about what our vision and mission really is. For me, it's very personal because I am Filipino, and it is my motherland, and it's very hard for me to not be emotional about what's happening. And it's one of our founders, Ibu Ani, and here in Indonesia, and one of our big workers within our nonprofit foundation, the partnership of when we say Hat and Wada, Father Rocky, they always say we stand with the least, the lost, and the last. So if you consider the scope of this current Philippine disaster, 11.5 million people have been harmed by that storm. Previous to that, there were the people in the earthquake. So I would say that right now on Earth, there's a record number of human beings right there in the Visayas that are just barely surviving. And they definitely qualify as the least, the lost, and the last on Earth right now. But Bumi Sehat does focus itself on pregnant mothers and babies. And why do we do that? Because we realize that as a collection of humanitarians, we can't tackle the entire problem. We just can't do anything like that size. But we can target people. And we look at who the least, the lost, and the last are. Within this disaster, who are the most marginalized and underserved people? It's easy to see that with 14.6% of all the Filipino population being pregnant at any given time, that the women who already were at risk, the pregnant women of the Philippines, the 14.6%, that's a staggering number of pregnant women who now have no medical services, no food, no clean water, and no shelter. So what happens to them in that situation? What my feeling is, we need to prioritize them. We need to protect the mothers and thereby protect the next generation of children coming in. We already have reports of babies being born in the field, in broken down hospitals and refugee camps, where there are actually corpses awaiting burial in the corner and no essential medicines. Everything's run out. When those reports reach us, it's just agony to hear it. But we do have some really practical solutions because we have worked in these disaster zones before, and our focus has always been maternal and child health. So since these mothers, their blood pressure is going up as their amount of food that they get and water has gone down, the babies are starting to come prematurely, some of them stillborn, some of them so small they don't have a chance. The premature babies that are big enough, that are strong enough, they have a chance if we really use common sense, proper evidence-based medical protocols, which are skin to skin with mother, exclusive breastfeeding. That means they have to have vigilant care, and that health providers that have bad habits, for example, taking the baby away and putting the baby in an incubator and then bottle feeding the baby, those bad habits have to be absolutely avoided. Imagine having to mix infant formula in water when there's no clean potable water. Mm. It's a recipe for death and disaster for that baby and family. Mm. So once a woman on Earth is pregnant, she's already 300 times statistically more likely to die within that next 9 months or a year than she was before she was pregnant. So then you add to that the trauma of a disaster of this size, and you really do have a lot of desperate people out there, particularly families that are expecting a baby out here. We know that eclampsia is a killer. When a woman's health falls so far below normal, when she's pregnant, she begins to have convulsions and she can die quite easily. So we want to prevent those deaths. Here are our methods. We know that that we have certain basic needs that have to be met. Clean water, food, medical support, shelter. Those are the urgent imperatives right now in the Central Philippines. And the steps that we're already taking as a team, and some of you have already donated and already contributed to this, I'm going to go through those right now. Clean water. My daughter is in touch with a company that makes solar water purifiers. Most of the locations there in the Central Philippines have no electricity yet. The ones that do have intermittent electricity. So we need a clean water purifying source that doesn't need to be plugged in. Any of you out there that can donate us those sort of solar suitcases, water purifiers, please do. Remember, if you donate something in kind, we need you to actually find your own funding to get it to us, to ship it, because we can't really handle the logistics of shipping ourselves. We can receive it on the other end.
Excuse me, where would people find how to get those to send them to you?
Those are all by contacting our different contacts, and we're going to put that up on our website. You, Bruce, Lakota. I'm going to be in the field in a couple of days, so I'm not going to have constant contact, but we will put up our addresses, where to send in Manila and where to send in Cebu. Those are our points of contact. Medical support, we've submitted a list of essential medicines to Direct Relief International. They partnered with us in Aceh, in Padang, in Jogja. They partnered with us in Haiti. They are the best way to get fully stocked with those essential medicines, particularly as they pertain to birthing women and children. So that's happening. My team at Bumisehat in the past 2 days has packed me a fully stocked mega birth kit, which I'm taking with me on the airplane. Further, smaller additional individual birth kits for traditional birth attendants and Filipino midwives are also being ordered. So an essential need when you're in a delivery room, particularly if the birth is high risk, is you need light to see. And We Care Solar with Dr. Laura Stachel has already been sending solar suitcases particularly for delivery rooms to the Philippines, and ours is on the way to Manila right now. Food, World Health Organization has been able to guarantee over 9,000 good-tasting, healthy, high-protein bars. They're coming from Brisbane. They're being shipped tomorrow to Cebu. That represents 9,000 days of survival. And in fact, if someone just ate half a bar a day and saved the other half for tomorrow or shared it with another person, they would have enough essential nutrients to really be strong compared to if they, were eating packaged noodle soup dry, which is what happens in those survival zones. Liz Sinclair, she is also lobbying for quality packaged food bars, which are hygienic and can be distributed easily. Ida has got Soy Joy involved. Judita, who's an Italian doula in Los Angeles, has got donors lined up. Again, their challenge is shipping to the Visayas. Shelter, the shelter box people from Rotary have made contact with us. We are meeting this coming week. This week we're in right now. We're going to meet with their deployment link in Cebu. My daughter in Love Zion's wife, Mariam, she works with a very large nonprofit organization, Disaster Reduction and Relief, Asian Disaster Reduction and Relief Network. And she will be there with me. They're flying her over tomorrow or the next day to be able to liaison with logistics. What's happening with logistics is that this time we know a lot more. So Asian Disaster Reduction and Response Network is trying to organize all the NGOs so that they all have jobs and they all do them efficiently. That work on the ground did not happen in Aceh until 4.5 months into the kerfuffle. Let's call it a kerfuffle. So I am one of the reasons I'm trying to get to the Philippines as soon as possible, besides the fact that I'm crawling out of my skin wanting to do patient care, is so that I can be at those first meetings and make sure to have input there. Alfredo, our Filipino team member, he's here in Indonesia, he's networking, making sure that we have customs releases and all of that for our goods coming in. Okay, and the most important thing that I want to talk about is fundraising. you guys, you women and men and children out there doing bake sales, honestly, you are the foundation of our foundation. You're the heart. Without you, our hands can't do a thing. And right now, Catherine Bromhall at Bumisea International has launched 1,000,000 Mothers. It's easy to donate on Facebook. And I will send these clicks to you, Bruce. Lakota, my daughter, she set up the link from the Bumisehat website for donations, and they're already pouring in from those two sources, 1,000,000 Mothers and bumisehatfoundation.org, and then you can go straight to on the homepage, there's a way to get to the Philippine click button, so you know that your donation is going to the Philippines. November 24th is my birthday, and I'll be 57. So what I'm asking you for, all of you that have any love for me at all, if you want to say happy birthday, give me $1 or $10,000. I'll be happy to accept the gift. It's really personal for me. You know, really, if you'd like to give me a birthday gift, give me some help for the people in the Visayas. You know, click those buttons. And I don't have a lot more to say except for please and thank you. Maraming salamat, and I love you.